up, world? What's up, Zion? It's Prince Easy coming at you again once more. As per usual, I do have a couple slides that I want to share with you on this fine day that we're having here. And of course, before we get to those slides, I want to issue a fair use disclaimer, right, for all the material that's going to be shown in this here presentation, right? So, without further ado, let's dive into it. Right, let's get into it. So let's see a bit of history. Yeah, it's a genuine concern that there is so much disingenuousness, if that's even a word, going on in these so-called negotiations. Yeah, this is what we get, right? At least people now are waking up, right? That there isn't any line that these people will not cross to get their way. Okay? Hey, great news, I guess. That's a very specific miss over there. Do somebody know something we don't? Okay. We are winning, just like the Ukrainians, It's important for them or for you to know that they are winning. Diplomacy. Yeah. The Egyptians are now waking up. We shall find out. We shall see your resolve. Mm-hmm. 6 of them. Again, this type of thinking, right, even going along with the type of thinking that you, a member of one country, does this regime change so-called operation so as you can benefit yourself, not the people over there, right? Because this is what is the reality, right? The Americans are as informed, or rather as misinformed, or rather uninformed. They don't know a lot about the world, it seems, right? They live in a bubble. So these people are, getting away with it, right? They're all about, most of them, making themselves feel good, right? That I am contributing, I am part of the movement, I am, and look at what has been done, right? Same to the European citizen. The way they speak tells you a lot to why their leaders are getting away with what they're getting away. It tells you a lot. So it's not just a leadership thing, no. Right? this Jasmine Crockett situation, I hope that's her name, the end one, right? The racism that has been coming out, right? The familiar phrases, fatigue, the whole nine. Let's just say that. And that shows you how shallow they are, and because of the things they choose to focus on or rather point out as to be important. Yeah. Mm? It is, they are invading. The reality is this: the Golan Heights is part of Syria. It has always been, it is known. Okay? Trump going over there and declaring that now that is somebody else, that's not how stuff works. Where else does that even work? Give me another example. Right? In real life, that you don't end up hurt or killed at the end of that endeavor. Please indulge. So now there is an open conversation, right, about this whole ordeal. They are selling a service, right? So they go over there and destabilize the region, and now they're offering escort services, right? Not the type of escort they're familiar with, but rather they want to be the bouncer, right? Just like they are the middlemen of oil, right? Oil salesmen for Venezuela, right? Self-proclaimed. Leadership group. This is what they say. Sleepy Joe Biden spent all of his time and our country's money giving everything to Zelensky of Ukraine, hundreds of billions of dollars worth, and while he gave so much of the super high end away, he didn't bother to replace it. EU ambassador not allowed to inspect damage to the Druzhba oil pipeline. Right? You remember, this is the same pipeline that the EU and some unnamed character was saying, we are not in a hurry, to fix it. And in fact, we want to phase out Russian oil. And now Russia is having a genuine conversation. Maybe we should. Senior EU diplomat says Kyiv scored its own goal by giving Hungary grounds to block a loan. And what are those grounds? It's the refusal to fix the pipeline. So it is I don't know what type of game is this. Right? They're talking about people's lives here, yeah? Let's not forget that. We cannot say if there is damage or not. There is a very easy way to document it and show they are working hard to repair it. They haven't done it, they say, right? Pertaining to the refusal. Just felt like I should update you about what is unfolding. EU seeking solution to prevent Iranian crisis from affecting air defense supplies to Ukraine. Right? Are these people ever sitting in having a productive conversation for humanity or even for themselves, No, they're not. They're always talking about war. You keep playing with fire, you continue. And I'll just keep on documenting your arrogance. According to Kobilius, he plans to launch an in-person missile tour as early as this week, visiting European manufacturers in a bid to speed up the delivery of missiles to Ukraine. I believe Orban will lose the election and relations with Hungary will be normalized, because now it is in an abnormal situation. That's what he says, right? Germany sits powerless as Trump attacks European allies in Oval Office. The Chancellor's strategy of never contradicting the US president in front of the cameras looks humiliating, but he believes he can talk him around on Ukraine and trade. Wow. By contrast, Spain's Socialist Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez has drawn Trump's ire for criticizing the Iranian strike as illegal and barring the U.S. from using Spanish bases to attack the country. He also refused to abide by NATO's new 5% of GDP spending target. Right, and for those who don't understand, right, these people, with all their wars, right, with all their troubles and all of their issues, they're still talking about war and how they're gonna spend 5%, right, as they say, to buy American weapons specifically, right? That is also up to date. The last time we had a conversation about this, they were fighting over who gets to supply, and of course the Germans came out and implied that they are the ones who are the most deserving. Why? Because the ones that contributed the most to the whole ordeal over there, apparently. For those reasons, Trump said we are going to cut off all trade with Spain. We don't want anything to do with Spain. Fine, they'll go to China, they'll go to India, they'll come to Africa. You're just one country. Pipe down. Germany emerged. No Ukraine agreement will be accepted without European participation. Yeah, whatever you say. Von der Leyen, Callas, and a growing EU foreign policy tough war. The EU top leadership is responding to a parallel, rather tandem, as the bloc scrambles to find a united front amid the war in the Middle East. How is the war in the Middle East shaking up EU relations? Kearney says Canada won't rule out joining US-Israel operation. Please. Please. These same people who are whining and crying like Trump has not forgotten you, and this trying to appease, no. Right? There's a greater Israel, there's a greater America plan. You don't know that? Well, a lot of meme have been going on talking about Kim over here just anxiously waiting for anybody to confront him. I don't think that's the current state, but hey, and these are just the memes that I've seen around. Please. Right, I've seen this company come up into Africa and grow. Right, and this shows the refinement of this company we came to know as Techno. Right? Yeah. They're the ones dying. They're the ones that have to shoot missiles at people. These politicians are comfortable, you know. cozy. Yeah, last time we had a conversation about this, it was pertaining to China. And now apparently it's even an African issue also. They are going to have a problem with you. And this guy is too proud, too proud and truly unwise. He shouldn't be there. And the people that propped him up and put him there, they are partially and responsible for this whole thing unfolding the way it did. My guy here, the so-called representative of the people, his opinion, right, or what he was sent to say by the people he represents is Trump is wearing velvet gloves for Russia. What does that even mean? Velvet gloves mean that there's a confrontation. When gloves are involved, right, there is a tussle. So what, are you admitting that you are at war with Russia, or are you, I don't know, a mediator, a negotiating party between the two warring sections? I'm so confused. Yeah, just more and more. That's the end of it. Well, as you can see, right, the mad people who were mad last year, they are still mad this year. And they're still gonna do things that are gonna backfire on them in some unforeseen ways, you know, just like dealing with witchcraft, you know. The best representation of the literal meaning of the devil's due, I think it is from a series that depicted a character called Rumpelstiltskin. Even that is not even correct. Rumpelstiltskin, right? Rumpelstiltskin, if that's even how you mention that. He makes deals with people, right? You want this thing, but he finds a way to screw you hard in the end. Why? Greed. Greed. So what do? We confront. We don't lay down and take it. We confront, and we be realistic, right? That's most crucial. Being realistic of who you're dealing with, the pattern of behavior, and what they can possibly do. If not so, then yeah, you know what it is. I don't even need to tell you what could happen. Okay? So anyway, let me not go on for long. I'll put a pin on it right there, and we're gonna see each other when we see each other. Right? Prince Easy signing out. Love you. Bye.